It feels to me like, in best paradigm I could think of, it's like we're living through the 1930s and the economic fallout of the Great Depression, and the 1960s with the social unrest over civil rights and the protest movement and racism. But if you were to take away God and add in social media, which, while of course it does a bit of good, I'm just not sure it's a net positive. It's also gas on the fire of some of our most base, primal survival instincts that are grounded in fear and not in love. I've called up a few older, wiser mentors of mine, black and white, over the last few weeks and asked, was this what it felt like in the 1960s? And they all, to a T, with little to no hesitation, said, no, this is not what it felt like. They all mentioned social media and how they are grateful in a sense that we're more aware right now than ever before, but that there's a dark underbelly to social media. But then, interesting, they all mentioned God, that what's missing this time around, because our country is now so secular, that's just the air we breathe, is talk of God and an appeal to the gospel. Of course, there are stunning faith leaders in the public sphere, like Dr. Loretz or Latasha Morrison, or so many that we look up to and respect, even in our own city, people like Michelle Jones and Mark Strong and so many others. But they are no longer the dominant voice. They are now off to the side. The dominant voice is secular to the core. It's the loudest voice right now. All that to say, it's not an easy time to follow Jesus. Would you agree? And we have no idea how long this season of uncertainty and COVID and phase 1 or 2 and the unrest and systemic stuff, we don't know how long this will last. A few more weeks, a few more months, a few more years. We just don't know. And my heart today is not to take the focus off systemic racism and just ask, how do we get back to feeling good? Not like we were feeling good, prior to the last few weeks. That's the wrong question. The point is not to feel good, it's to become good in our soul and in our society. My heart for today is just to ask, how do we move forward as a church? How do we apprentice under Jesus in a season of life where it just feels like, you wake up in the morning and you read the news and you're just waiting for the next shoe to drop? Well, as always, we look to Jesus, who, it goes without saying, was not white, was not from the middle class per se, was no stranger to chaos, to generational poverty, to violence, to systemic racial injustice that goes back, in his case, for over a millennia. And to say that we look to Jesus does not mean that we look away from the pain of our cultural moment at all. It means that we look to Jesus for a way through the pain of our cultural moment.